Hi everyone, welcome to another session of Tech Discussion with Sama. So today we will discuss about Automation Anywhere coding standard. Okay, in our last session we discussed about the commands and we have divided into three parts. And I suggest you to please go through those videos. Okay, and today we'll discuss about this coding standard and why we should go for this coding standard. Okay, so let's start the session. Okay, so first thing, see, RPA coding standard and best practices which every RPA developer should follow. Okay, every RPA developer should follow this one. Okay, while developing the bot, it helps in improving the quality. Quality, that is actually very important thing. It helps in improving the quality of the overall software system and improve maintain of the code. Okay, and the information which we are going to discuss today, actually that is actually generic. Okay, it is not particular to Automation Anywhere. You can use it for all the RPA tools. Okay, there are a lot of RPA tools are available, like Automation Anywhere, UiPath, Blue Prism. Okay, so lot of etc. So lot of tools are available in the market. Okay, so the quality we will the coding standard which we will discuss in this session, that is actually generic. Okay, so let me erase all those details. Okay, so we will start with the coding standard. Okay, so first we will start with the configuration file. Okay, so you guys have used this configuration in your bot, right? So this is the mandatory thing. Okay, because see, you have a multiple environment. You have production environment, you have a dev environment, QA environment. Let me erase QA as in test environment, and then prod environment. Okay, so whenever you are moving the code from dev to test, instead of changing the code, you can follow this configuration file. Okay, and same also when you are moving to test to prod, you just have to change in the configuration file, not in the code. Okay, so in configuration file, you have to consider some of the things like bot exceptions. Okay, bot exceptions, folder structure. Okay, so when I say bot exception like this error code, descriptions, all those things should be there in your configuration file. Folder structure, application name also, application name and their path, name and path. Okay, email address, and then subject line. Okay, so all those things you can mention in your configure. Obviously there are other things are also, but these are the generic details which you can put in your configuration file. Okay, so this is how you can maintain your config file, and this config file can be XML, it can be Excel, or it can be CSV. So it depends upon your requirement, but configuration file, this is the mandatory thing you have to maintain in your code. Okay, so we can so the coding standard we are following because of the quality. Okay, so whenever you are going to work with for a customer, so customer will be happy when you deliver a quality of the code. Okay, so let's move to the another point. The first is a configuration file, and the second is will use proper use of comments. So you in automation 360 we have steps. Okay, steps is like set of actions you can put in the steps, and you can give the steps name. Okay, if it is a example I can give like login to the pay, login, or accessing configuration file, accessing config file. So these are the steps you can give. And comments also, you have to mention whatever the logic you are building in your code, you have to mention the comments, so that code can be your code can be in a structured way, we can say. Okay, so that is what, if any and also if any issue occurs in the future, so at least based on these steps and comments anyone can find out the what is the actual issue. Okay, that is the thing. And then next thing is that you cannot use a hard-coded values in your code. You should avoid. Okay, don't use any hard-coded value in your code. Okay, everything you have to mention in your configuration file. Okay, maintain in configuration file. Else, suppose if you have sensitive data, okay, maintained in locker, okay, but do not use your hard-coded value in your code. Okay, that is the thing. Okay, so next point is error handling mechanism. Okay, error handling mechanism, you might have heard about try and catch. Okay, exceptions. Okay, this is also very mandatory thing you have to mention in your code, this try catch. Okay, in this way you can handle if any unexpected error comes. This is how you can manage your code. Okay, and then next is what? Reusable component. Okay, example I can give like read config. Suppose you have created a bot for read config. Okay, you have to make it separate, so that in future if you build any other code, you just have to reuse this task file instead of creating a new one. Okay, read config, folder structure brought. Okay, and log into application. Okay, so these are the things. Also there are a lot of things, based on your requirement and all, but you have to create a reusable component. Okay, next thing is 400 to 500 lines in a code. Okay, so whatever the code you are going to develop, just try to maintain maximum 400 to 500. It should not exceed more than that. Okay, and try to divide or try to split your process into subtasks. Okay, you may have to develop a big process, but if you can divide into smaller pieces, then at least it will be easier for you to write the code, understand the code. Okay, if any issue comes, you will get to know like which task file it came error, and you just have to do some minor changes instead of changing the whole code. Okay, that is also. Okay, try to document your code, including comments. Like I can say document your code. Okay, and it actually, this will be easier for other developers to understand and use this code. Okay, and try to make the code simple. Make your code simple. Okay, so I hope you understood the process. We will just recap what are the things we have discussed. First is the configuration file. Okay, in configuration, what are the things we should, that is majorly we should use: bot exception, folder structure, application name, path, email address, subject line. Others are there, but these are the generic details. You can put it in a configuration file, and this can be XML, Excel, CSV. And then steps, you have to mention the steps. Steps is like set up actions, login action, accessing config, etc. So all those things you can mention in a steps, and also comments also you have to mention. Okay, and don't use any hard coded values. This is also important. Okay, and then try catch, you have to mention the try catch and exception. Reusable component, that is read config, folder structure, login to application. So these are the reusable component you can maintain in your code. 400 to 500 line in a code, it should not exceed more than that. If it exceeds, then try to build a subtask for it. Okay, document your code, okay, so that anyone can understand what is going on, what is this logic is all about, and make your code simple. Okay, here I have found another one also: log the details. Okay, so whatever the details you are whatever the code you are writing, just try to log it. Even though, so there are two types of log: one is the audit log, another one is the error log. Okay, audit log is like it contains all the process from starting to end. Everything will be every details will be audited in this audit log. Error log is specifically to error only. Okay, in error you can take the snapshot. Okay, you can send mail. Okay, so you can log all those details, audit log and error log also. This is also mandatory for you to put that in your code. Okay, so that is all for today's session. Okay, please let me know if you have any doubt or anything, and also let me know if this session is useful for you. Okay, thank you everyone, see you at the next session.